everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. Happy Saturday. I'm so excited for this video, guys. This is a collaboration with Moulds and Shapes. Now, most of you will know that I work with Moulds and Shapes, and so does Petra Gerbracht, and Petra and myself are collaborating on their brand new mould. I don't even know if it's launched yet or if it's going to be launched tonight as our videos play out. They are stunning moulds. I cannot wait to see what Petra does with hers. I am going full on, chuck it all in steampunk, because I've been itching to find a mould that I can do this with, and this mould is perfect. So I hope you absolutely love my video, and after you've watched mine, please go and share the love with Petra. Her video I think is going out before this, but some of you might not know that if you haven't seen my socials, but I will link Petra's video down below, so please go and share the love with her as well, and I hope you love it because I think this is my favourite video so far this year. Favourite creation. So excited. Okay, let's go. So you would have seen the mould in the thumbnail. This is it. It is chunky, guys. I'm not sure I'm going to fill this one up today, but it is gorgeous. It's around an inch deep. It's a super chunky initial square, almost like a giant Scrabble tile. I absolutely love it. Of course, they sent me the letter C and Petra has the letter P, so I cannot wait to see the differences between our projects. I'm just showing you here the depth. It is a chunky chunk of a mould, but again, I'm not filling it completely to the top. If you want it to be freestanding, then absolutely fill it up. And I know I've said this is probably my favourite project to date this year, and I feel like I say that about everything, but with every project, I don't know, I just feel like I'm evolving. The resin I'm using is Vista Turbo. This is Vista's fast cure resin. All the details will be down below, and of course, steampunk. If you missed it, I'll link it here. I did a huge steampunk haul over on Amazon thanks to my patrons, and I'm going to be creating a absolute wow packed in steampunk letter C. Say that in one breath, honestly. Right, okay. First thing I'm going to do, I wasn't actually sure of my process here. I just knew I wanted to create my C first, and then I wasn't sure if I was going to let it cure overnight before I did the rest, or how it was really going to play out. So this one was really just me sitting down, playing with the mould, playing with all of my inclusions, just letting it play out by itself. I really had no real rules of how I was going to lay everything in. I just went for it. So first up, the letter C. Now, I poured my resin real slow into the letter C. I just wanted to make sure I had enough resin in there to lay everything down. And then it was just really a case of having fun, grabbing my inclusions. Now, all of the clock faces had little loops on, so again, I cut all of those off. I didn't want those in. I wanted them to just look like clock faces, and just laying everything down. I wanted a combination of all of the colours, so except the silver. I don't think I've used any silver metals in this, but I've just gone for all of the bronzes, the brass, the gold kind of shades, really hoping that they would complement each other and just layering them up. The beauty with this mould is that it is super deep, so I could afford to use the inclusions that I've been wanting to use for a while, and they are like cogs, but they're much deeper cogs. They've got so much more detail on them, and they're around 3-4 mil deep, and I get to use them in this, so it was so much fun. Now at this point, of course, all of the resin is coming out of the letter C. It really does not matter. At this point, I was just focusing on this letter and getting everything placed in where I wanted it, overlapping them, thinking maybe there's a gap, so I put something else in and under. You really have the luxury here of layering up. Now, depending on what you're doing, whether you're putting flowers in here or crystals, or whether you're doing the cling film technique, there are so many different ways to use your mould. But because I am full blown in love with steampunk at this time, I knew I had to do a complete and utter chuck it all in. Now, I don't want to kind of show you the real time of this, so there are areas in this video where I am speeding it up, but yeah, I could not could not get enough. Now, if you are interested in anything here, the details for the molds and shapes mold will be down in my description box. There is a 5% discount code for you over at Molds and Shapes if you're interested in getting your giant Scrabble letter. It's the only way I could describe it. Then everything is down below. All of the links for everything you'll need are in the description box. So it was at this point I thought, I have resin left. Let's just do it all in one. Let's just do it all in one. It's not going to be like a multi-layered piece. I knew that I wasn't going to do 3, 4, 5 layers. It was all going to be one layer, so I might as well just continue. And this is where I have sped it up because honestly, real time, this was around about half an hour of me playing around and just placing my metal inclusions down in. Now, the one thing to remember when you're doing something like this is that it is backwards. So anything that needs to be seen from the front, you must flip it. Make sure you flip it upside down and place it in that way, because otherwise when you demold, it will be the wrong way round. I had a plan here. I didn't want to follow too many rules, but my one rule was to leave a gap around the C. I didn't want it all to just merge and you don't see the C at all. I wanted the letter to be real stand out. I wanted to make sure we could see the letter basically. So you can see there is a gap around the letter, and before I started on the outer edge, that was the only real plan I had. I wanted that C to pop. Okay, now for my bigger inclusions that I showed you in a previous video. Haven't been able to use them yet, but now I get to use one right in the center of that letter C. It's a clock, so again, making sure you've got it round the right way and up the right way, so when we turn it around, it's not upside down or back to front. And then I thought, do you know what, let's just finish this now. We're just going to add a few more of these cogs to the back of the clock now. All we want here is the illusion that it's laying on a bed of cogs. So we're not going to see most of the cog. We're just laying the cogs over the back of the clock so that just sections of them are visible when we demold. And that is it. Guys, that is it for the cogs. I've got as much in there as I could possibly physically put in and be happy. There is a gap around the C so that it's not completely buried and almost camouflage and invisible. I do want there to be some definition with that letter C, but everything's in there, guys. We've got skulls, keys, we've got so much in there. And yeah, my plan now, this is the next day. My plan was, well, there was a few options, you see. Wendy over at Toonfish Crafts, I showed you this silicone inlay that she's made in a previous video. I was thinking maybe I could pour a thin layer of resin and put this silicone mold in on the back and create almost like the cling film technique, the embossed background. However, everything just seemed a little bit tricky when I thought about this, the depth. So I've got a lot of things on here that need a deep layer of resin. So then I was thinking stamps. We could lay stamps down in the similar fashion, so to emboss them. But look at this. I'm gonna need a solid 1 centimeter of resin minimum. Now you could do this in layers, of course you could. You could put another little thin layer down, put a stamp, add more depth, add more value, add more detail. But yeah, I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it, guys. I had to go with my gut, and my gut was telling me to just go crazy with color at this point. So very similar to what you've seen in my previous videos with the throwing the mica powder on and just flicking it all over. Look at the static. This mold, this silicone that Molds and Shapes use, it is so beautiful, soft and squishy. It is pulling the mica off my brush through that static attraction before I've had a chance to shake it down. So at one point I covered it. I was like, let me just cover the mold and try and get some of this powder down. So I am using the chameleon powders from Let's Resin again, because they are what, honestly, they're giving me life in these kind of projects. They're creating the exact kind of effect I'm going for. And I just thought, if I'm gonna really follow my heart on this one, I need to just stick to this, because I know that no matter what, I'm going to love the results of this. And this is what it's looking like so far. Again, looks messy, looks crazy. Trust the process. I've left the letter C completely clear of everything because I want to shove the glitter in. This glitter, I've been using it very, very sparingly in the project so far. But in this one, I want to just throw it in. I want this project to be the ultimate glittery steampunk project, and it's the letter C in the middle that gets the majority of this glitter into it. Again, I'm not necessarily being neat here. I'm literally grabbing my fingers, like grabbing some in my fingers and just sprinkling it all around. We are done. We are absolutely done. That is it. The next stage for us is to spray our alcohol spray and pour our resin. Now, the reason we are spraying the alcohol isopropyl is to get all of those chameleon powders to dance together and move around together. I spray a lot. Are you ready? You want to count? There's a lot. There's like 20. Minimum 20 sprays. I am saturating the bottom of this. Not only is this gonna help those chameleon powders merge together, dance and blend in the most beautiful way, but I was hoping it would actually pin my glitter down. I was worried because I'm pouring a solid, like I want to say centimetre of resin on the back of this, and I was worried because I saw the glitter actually floating. And I was thinking, no, we've lost all of that glitter. But we haven't, it's all okay. So just 2 layers, we've done our clear. This is now our background. One more spray of that isopropyl to get any surface bubbles out. Are you ready? Are you ready for this, guys? I could have cried. I could have cried. Okay, I'm not even gonna lie. I am fully obsessed. This looks like something out of a storybook. This looks magical, fantastical, absolutely beautiful results. Stunning. I really hadn't I have no words. I have no words. You need to put your descriptions down in the description box. I hope you've loved this. Petra, I cannot wait to see what you make. I truly cannot wait. I really love the glitter. I love the fact that some of the glitter did stay and we've got this stunning central letter C. You can clearly see the letter C, so I'm really glad I left a gap. Yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. The one negative, the one thing I will say is that I would, if I did this again, I would use a clear layer of resin down in the mould first to protect the mould. And then in the second layer of resin, I would lay down my metal. The metal got so heavy that it kind of dented into the silicone. So when you run your hands over the surface of this, you can feel raised, bumpy surfaces because the metal got so heavy and it did kind of rest down on the silicone, put too much pressure on the silicone. The silicone's fine, it's all fine, but if I was to do this again and if you're thinking of doing this, then I would definitely recommend that. I'm going to stop talking. I hope you absolutely love it as much as I did. I'm going to show you it in different lights now. I actually do take it outside in the sun and I show it to you in the shade. This is the sun. I mean, it doesn't get any more. It doesn't get any better than this. Like, where do I go from here? Oh my gosh, this was actually inspired by Monday's video, which I filmed prior to this. So check out Monday's video, which was the video that fully inspired this kind of technique and this take. And yeah, I hope you've loved it. Please go over, share the love with Petra. I will leave Petra's video linked below. Make sure you go over and check that out now. And yeah, I appreciate you all massively. Thank you to Moulds and Shapes for sending this mould over to me. I love it. I truly love it. One of my best projects so far this year, and I will see you all on Monday for even more wow. I cannot cope. Let's go. Bye.